Another day, another mass shooting in this country. And our politicians, well, they're not saying anything. And I wonder why. Next on His Culture. Let's get it.
We gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise. Yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas. When the whole team win, that's when you flex. Win. And I'ma do it again. Watch me win. Then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's.
Welcome to Is Culture Podcast with Mark Stevenson. I am the host. And if this is your first time tuning in, let me introduce myself. My name is Mark Stevenson. This is Culture Podcast, where we talk about everything from sports to politics, trending topics, entertainment, you name it. I cover it. Why? Because I think it's all part of the culture. So if you could do me a favor, hit the like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can get all the updates. And as I say on all my shows, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and rocking with me. So let's get into this. Today in our country, once again, we're facing two heartbreaking tragedies. They didn't happen back to back, and both assailants, these mass shooters, happen to be white males. So we had a mass shooting at a church service in Michigan, and another deadly attack on a waterfront bar in coastal North Carolina. In both cases, spaces meant for faith, fellowship, and relaxations were violated. So in this video, I'm going to walk y'all through what we know so far about the Grand Blanc shooting in Michigan, what we know about the Southport, North Carolina shooting. We're going to compare how the attacks unfolded, how authorities are responding, what questions remain about the motive, safety, and preventing future attacks. So we're going to get into all of that. Like I said, if you value depth over clickbait, I want y'all to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me, right? It don't cost you anything. And let's get some clarity together here tonight. All right? So I hate doing videos like this because it's just tragedies. So let's get into it, y'all. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Because it keeps happening. It keeps happening. And I'm shocked that y'all are not shocked that these things keep happening in our country. These mass shootings just take place. People are just randomly killed for no reason whatsoever. People who are doing absolutely nothing to the individual, the assailant who is actually carrying out this. These are people who are just going about their lives, and they happen to be getting killed unjustly. So let's start in the Grand Blanc, right? So in the Grand Blanc township in Michigan, this morning, a shooter drove a vehicle into the front doors of the Church of Latter-day Saints chapel during Sunday service. Then he opened fire. So not only did he drive his truck through the church building, he got out and started opening fire on people. Then he set the building ablaze. And the investigators believe that he set the fire intentionally. At least 2 people have been confirmed dead. 8 others were wounded. Hundreds of worshipers were inside at the time. Police say officers responded within 30 seconds of the 911 call. The suspect was killed during the shootout with law enforcement. At the suspect home, they went and searched. Bomb squads were deployed, as they always are. They discovered some IED explosives in a vehicle belonging to him. They started, as all the investigations, they started, combing through his phone records, searching the home, social media, trying to find the motive. And here we are with some questions still open right now. Why target a church doing worship? We've seen a couple of mass shootings at churches. We saw Dylan Roof down going to Mother Emanuel in Charleston. We saw one down at a church in Texas. We saw one with the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pennsylvania. Here we are, another church worship service being attacked. This time it was Mormons. Like, what about, are there any other, I wonder, because they said that, a lot of people got hurt, but he set the church on fire. So were there other people in there that may have not been accounted for? We don't know his ideological, personal, or, social, political views yet. And then we're going to kind of go back and look at this motive later, because after we talk about this second case. So I just pray that we can get this together. I really do. Now let's shift to Southport, North Carolina, if we could, where these people were at a waterfront bar and they were attacked from this man came up on a boat, okay? A small boat at around 9:30 at night. These patrons were at the American Fish Company, a dockside bar, having food, seafood, and drinks. And 3 people were killed, and at least 8 others were injured. Witnesses, they described hearing gunfire from the water as the boat approached. Then he fled back into the intercoastal waterway. So this man literally drove up he did a drive-by shooting on a boat. A drive-by boating shooting. The lead investigator called it targeted, premeditated attack. Now, by 10 p.m., the U.S. Coast Guard had spotted this man's vehicle, his boat. They saw it docked at a boat ramp in Oak Islands, where he was later arrested. This suspect's name is Nigel Edge of Oakland, North Carolina, y'all. That's him at the bottom on the left. He's facing charges including 3 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. And there's no motive for his either yet. Hasn't been revealed. When we look at this case, when he goes to trial, was the location specifically targeted? Was he an opportunist? That's got to be kind of held out. Was the suspect acting alone, or was it some type of external support? Are there any type of connection between both of these attacks, even though they happened in separate states? And the reason why I say that, because both these men were Marines. Both of them were veterans of the Marine Corps. Now, I want to kind of take some time to kind of look at some things real quick. How are these attacks similar and different? Like both attacks targeted like public gatherings, right? One was a place of worship. The other one was a social venue. Both used firearms with the intent to cause mass harm. AR-15 is the choice weapon when it comes to these shootings. Now, in North Carolina, the suspect pulled up with a short barrel firearm and just unloaded on these people. But we also can say that they both had swift law enforcement and either neutralization or an arrest, right? Now, the motivations remain murky. All these victims were bystanders. None of them had any type of connection to the suspects. At least that's what we know so far, right? And with all the reporting, these were just random people who just got randomly killed by some random dude who decided, they were just going to go out and go commit tragedies. Now, the only difference is that I can really kind of point to. One was a church, one was a restaurant. One happened indoors, one happened outdoors, right? There was a fire to the building in Michigan, but there was no fire to the building in North Carolina. The suspect in Michigan is dead. The suspect in North Carolina is facing charges. Michigan's investigation is including a bomb squad because he set the building on fire. And they also found like IED stuff, arson elements. But North Carolina's was more ballistic, like with surveillance and some type of maritime coordination. The motive, we don't even have no clues as to what these guys were, the reason why, right? There's a lot of stuff out on social media, conspiracy theories. They always run with these cases. They go looking. I think somebody said that the guy in Michigan was a Trump hater, so he was a leftist. You know how it goes. They got to paint the narrative that is the left. The left is violent, right? They got to paint that in the media. But the North Carolina case, right? They labeled that one as targeted. So I guess there was some type of prior intent for him to go there and do this, right? And I look at this church one because churches are supposed to be sacred. They're supposed to be sanctuaries. They're supposed to be places of worship, places of gather. Healing goes there. And attacking them evokes deeper societal issues. And it's sickening. Well, the killings are sickening anyway, right? They're just there's nothing else to say about this. There is a problem with these white males with these AR-15s that want to go out here and cause mass harm. Both of these guys was in the military. I told y'all that. So they may have been dealing with PTSD issues, and if they were, they shouldn't have had firearms in the first place. Now, if we're gonna start talking about what's happening, in Michigan, the local SWAT bomb squads, the FBI, kind of converged on the scene. Agencies, including the local police, the Coast Guard, and the state investigative bureau, did the work down in Southport, North Carolina. Both cases hinge on evidence gathering. A lot of closed circuit TV stuff, phone records, ballistic analysis, witness interviews, social media, anything to try to give us a narrative as to why. Now, if we're looking at security, in public spaces, right? I mean, when you go eat, you're not expecting to run into a mass shooter. When you go to the mall, the shop, you're not expecting to get caught up in a mass shooting. When you go to the grocery store to buy food, you're not expecting to get caught up in a mass shooting. When you go to the movie theater, you're not expected to get caught up in a mass shooting. And when you go to church that you are not expecting to get caught up in a mass shooting. You're not expected to get caught up in a mass shooting at your place of employment. I don't know what we can do to stop these, because, these people are deranged when you take a weapon and just go kill somebody. But it's clear and obvious, right, that instead of looking at the motives right now, because we don't know any, instead of going on social media, trying to find information from Grok and all these AI chatbots, and combing through, sharing memes that you see online, we got to let the authorities do their job and give us the information so we can avoid all this left versus right crap. Because Whether the person is a leftist, whether they're a far right extremist, that does not matter. Okay? At this point, it is too many killings going on. It is too many. The public has a right to know, but we also need to be cautious about the information that we're being fed. Because how do you pursue justice, right? How do you pursue justice when the motive is unclear? And I know people are going to talk about gun laws, but should gun laws, access, oversight be reevaluated? Especially for weapons with people who may have had PTSD. Is there going to be any type of systemic pressure? Is there any type of societal conditions that can make these attacks more possible? Like, what do we do? What do you and I do when we go out? I mean, I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in the right to bear arms. Okay. I believe that, you should be able to carry, conceal, carry, however you do it to protect yourself. But when you take your firearm out with you, you're not going out to use it on somebody. You may take it with you so you can defend yourself. But in this regard, these tragedies, what do you do when somebody just rolls up on you and just blasts you, just start shooting? There is no self-defense for that. Because if I'm just out having a good time with my family or some friends, and then I'm at a restaurant and the guy just goes postal, you're not expecting that. And we got to stop politicizing this stuff because it's not making it go away. I think politicizing it is what's making this country even worse. These tragedies, they have to force us to confront these uncomfortable truths. And the first truth is no place is safe. No place in this country is safe. From places of worship to your local social spots, your entertainment spots, grocery stores, nowhere is safe in the United States right now. In areas where rapid response seems not to be the thing, it needs to be. Why? Because rapid response matters. In Michigan, they were able to take the assailant out. In North Carolina, they were able to get there in time to make an arrest. If both areas had lackluster 911, these people would have got away with it. They would have got away with it, especially the one in North Carolina because he left on a boat. And when the investigators do the investigations, they got to bring the facts quickly to the public. Why? So we don't get caught up and consumed with a bunch of conspiracy theories and people running away with this and politicizing it. We have to be better as a community. Our politicians gotta do something to get some policies in place. And this country need to do a serious soul searching. A serious one. And in my closing, here are some questions I want you to think on. Okay? I just want y'all to think about this, right? What security measures should religious and public venues adopt now? A lot of these places you can't bring your firearms. Should they allow you to bring your firearms now if you have a concealed weapons permit? How can authorities better anticipate and prevent these attacks? Can you even prevent them? Does symbolism change how we react, grieve, and legislate? Does the color of the person's skin, do they nationality, do they religious ideology, do they gender, does any of that matter with how we react to these situations, how we grieve these situations, and how we legislate on these situations? What type of accountability is there when the suspect is dead, or if the motive is unknown? We're going to keep looking at these cases as they evolve. As more information comes, I'll shed some light, especially the one in North Carolina, because we know he's going to be going to trial. I'll be curious to see what y'all come up with in the comment section about these tragedies. My heart goes out to both the people of Southport, North Carolina, as well as Grand Blanc, Michigan. I pray for healing and comfort in the midst of a great, great tragedy. Our country's hurting, y'all. And I don't care what side of the political aisle you land on. I don't care about your gender. I don't care about your nationality. I don't care about your ethnic origin. I don't care about your sex, any of that. None of that stuff matters right now. Two communities are hurting because of this senseless violence. And there's more, because there's violence all over this country. I'm praying for this nation right now, because these things are happening too frequent. Life is being lost. People don't value life. So y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think. If y'all found this analysis, great, hit the like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video. Until next time, Coach Nation, keep it coaching.